Welcome, I'm David.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Desmonds Donders. Hello, and welcome to this week's Wednesday Waffle. We'll have a little chat about what we've been up to, and a little chat about the rules. You'll see what I mean in a minute. It's not quite a special request, but a question was asked, and I'm going to supply the answer. Or where to find the answer. What have we been up to? Well, we were out last weekend, and coincidentally, we've done this before. A video has come out, and that's where we've been. So this week's videos are from Port Gordon, and that's where we were this week. A very different video when it comes out in February, because no visitors. And although it looked a lovely sunny day, it was bitterly cold, so we didn't spend a lot of time outside filming. For the cameras, etc., we didn't want them to be frozen up. Alright, it was us. Anyway, that's what we've been up to, and on Friday there's an amazing sunset, and Lindsay takes us for a walk into Port Gordon. So if we move on to next week, we've got 3 videos from Kinloch Rannoch. So there won't be a waffle next week. There'll be stuff about Kinloch Rannoch. Now Kinloch Rannoch, most people don't know, the village itself played a part in Outlander, but to the east of Kinloch Rannoch is a small hill, and upon that hill, made from prehistoric fiberglass, were the stones that the main characters kept disappearing through. And that's about as much as I know about Outlander, except the majority of it was not filmed in the Highlands. Fort William and Dalwhinnie were about the only 2 places that we used, and one was a Highland museum, Dalwhinnie, and Fort William for the fort. Although the actual fort that was used for the internal shots, etc., etc., of Fort William is east of Edinburgh. So I did know a bit more about Outlander. Anyway, what am I going to talk about then? Kind of a hard subject I've covered before, and this is really at the request, although she didn't request me specifically, and I said probably not, but here I am doing it anyway, of a YouTuber, and it's sort of basically, where can I park? How do I know that I can park somewhere? The short answer is you really don't, but the long answer kind of follows. It's a shortened long answer. Okay, in Scotland, let's clear this one up straight at the start. There's the Land Reform Act, and that came into being in 2003, and people thought it was amazing. They could park anywhere. Well, actually they can't. The Land Reform Act refers to wild camping, and it also specifically excludes motorhomes, cars, motor vehicles, and could be stretched even to electric bikes, who knows. But the Land Reform Act specifically says you cannot go onto anybody's land and park. Like, you can go onto some land and pitch your tent. You've got to do it by foot. So we can forget that. So where do we get the ability to do it from? Well, it derives from the Road Traffic Act Scotland and the Road Traffic Act England and Wales. And basically they say the same thing, that the people who build the roads have to build adequate rest areas. And the only real place that has them is motorways. Now, I wouldn't want to spend too long there. But failing that, of course, certain drivers have to stop and sleep. And if you park at the side of the road, that is where your authority to park rests. Yeah? Car parks within 15 metres or so of the road and laybys. Now, the 15 metres away from the road is really because of the police. But those places would tend to be noisy and tend to be busy. But that's where it also comes in the definition of parking and camping. So a quick one on that. When you park, you literally come to a stop, apply the handbrake, and that's you. When you camp, you can do that as well. But when you camp, you get out the steps, the chairs, the awning, the barbecue. Yeah, that's camping by definition. Which reminds me of a new act, and that perhaps I should have done that first. Down in England, they have this horrible thing for keeping travellers from where they're not supposed to be, this new act. And that is where the definition, camping and wild camping and parked and camping is. And because of that, a lot of people thought it applies to them. It does if you set up camp in an unauthorised place. That's 15 metres from, more than 15 metres from a road, and in a lay-by. They're for parking. Sounds more and more as though we can't do this, but we can. And it's not down to law really, it's down to the attitude of the people and the locals. And even up here now, after the invasions post-COVID and not being able to travel abroad, we're finding more and more places closing down, anti-feeling, because of what's been happening. But we manage week in, week out, except weeks we're not going out because we have this agreement. Oh dear, I should tell you about that another time. But the brain isn't ticking over properly this morning. We come down now to all this legislation saying what we can and can't do. But practically, what can we do? Practically, we can park up the way we do in Scotland, the way we have done in England, provided you're not hacking off locals. Now, how might you do that? Pull up at the side of the road where there's designated parking, but then set up your camp to block the pavement where they should normally be walking. Littering, all stuff like that. Anything that could upset the locals and will upset the locals is going to get you moved on. To deal with the specific point was where it said private parking, no overnight parking, private parking. That is legitimate. Even in Scotland, if the land is private and the person doesn't want you parking there. However, if it's public land, we get to the situation with a council parking order, which can only be done on car parks they own, and the traffic regulations, the TRA, which can close off car parks, etc., etc., and do that. And those notices have got to be prominently displayed, and where you can find out more details if necessary. TRAs that I've seen, both of them, have had that, and the council parking orders that I've seen both have exactly what they need. There have been examples of others, but to sort of answer the question that was asked, that is, from that sign you showed, Sue, and for the various other things there, it was difficult to tell. If that person did own that land, it was legit. If not, you can park. We have near to us a great place, absolute great place, which would be great to park up if we didn't know about one. And that park up, it's not closed, you can go there, but they've been trying to close it. They've put up a sign saying no overnight parking. Irrelevant, that land doesn't belong to the people that have put it up. They've suggested a voluntary sum of money to park during the day, and no overnight parking signs around the rest of the car park. Irrelevant, they don't own that land. The road is a public road, it's council maintained, and so there needs to be a council parking order. However, I refer back to not hacking off the locals earlier on, and we just stay away from it now. We were going to stop a few weeks back, but didn't because of these signs and how busy it was. And I didn't see one person voluntarily spend their £2 on a day's parking, which is a bargain. It's a bargain, but not when it's going to somebody who's not entitled to that money. It's a good cause, but yeah. So that's it. It's a complex thing. This is my opinion. Other people's will differ because they think they can park where they like, and it's the parking where you like that causes problems. We have lost 1, 2, 3, 4 park-ups in this area alone because people have been inconsiderate in the past 2 years. I don't think it's helped you, Sue, but I've had my say. I hope you keep coming back up here. By and large, you should be able to get parked. A few simple rules I keep to are keep it simple, don't put a lot of stuff out. Even my radio antennas are to be dropped in seconds. Speak to the locals, say hi, ask them about something, that kind of thing. And if there is a sign, even though it might be illegal, don't argue with anybody, move on. There's always somewhere else to park. If you wish to take it up with somebody later, then do so. I'd start maybe with the council, maybe with the government who are responsible for the TRAs. Anyway, I have waffled on more than enough this morning. See you on the road sometime. We've got one more weekend trip away before we start weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of prep for our next big trip. Well, it is weeks and weeks. It's a couple of weeks anyway. There is some drone footage coming up, unless I've waffled on for too long. And yes, I did waffle on while making this one, but I missed a very important point. And that point is about the apps that we all use. We use one, but they're not always perfect. One of them in particular isn't. I'm not going to mention any names, but I've used 3 or 4. And one in particular had nearly 6,000 park-ups in Scotland. Unfortunately, about 3,500 of them are passing places on single track roads. You cannot park in a passing place without danger of prosecution. That includes the grass area just beyond the passing place, I'm afraid. Yeah, it can happen. But have fun out there in Scotland, enjoy it, and enjoy the rest of this drone footage without me going on and on and on. Thank you for watching Desmonds Donders. And remember, please take nothing but memories and leave nothing but tracks. Please subscribe and ring the bell for notifications, and hopefully we'll see you next time.